music yet, right? We don't have the soundboard. We got to
put it next to the mic. Put it next to the mic.
Oh,
they're gonna get copyright us on it. Don't do that, actually.
Hey, that's all right. Y'all got to catch us. Welcome back. Episode number 2 of season number 2. My name is Otis Berg, and we got Mr.
Jeffrey Nadal.
That's it, man. He said it just like he was getting ready to collect your taxes, man.
Right.
Jeffrey Nadal.
That's exactly how they collect my taxes. Damn it.
Oh, man. So, jumping right into it, man. We got some great info for you guys today. Obviously, the last one was a hit. We definitely appreciate the responses. I think I got a pretty specific one that if I have time, I'll follow up with. But here we are. We are season number 2, episode number 17, and this is the Alpha Mentality Podcast. So, how you doing today, brother?
You drinking coffee, man? You hyped right now.
I'm fired up right now, dude.
Is it the song or what is it?
21. Can you do something for me? Hey, nah. But you're getting ready to know me a little bit more, right? I told myself this season I wasn't going to be so buttoned up. I was like, let me just let my hair down a little bit, right?
When you used to wear your suits and all that, yeah.
I did. I think I did that like one because I came from like an appointment or something. But what was I doing that day? Anyhow, it doesn't matter. Welcome back, everybody. So if you guys are tuning in, you know we're talking about alpha mentality and the things that come along with it.
Indeed.
We've been getting polled by many of you on what to say, and we're not going to say what you ask us to say. We're probably going to do the absolute opposite, man. So how's the day treating you so far, brother?
Day is amazing, man. Growing and developing every single day. How about yourself?
I'm good, man. I've been listening a lot to old Kobe Bryant clips and just kind of sharpening my alpha mentality, man. But I'm definitely fired up here today because today a topic that I think is near and dear to most people is some habits, right? We talked about this in season 1, but we want to turn it to a 102 of habits, right? And discuss the habits of highly successful people. And the only reason this came about is because I'm not highly successful. Jeff, you highly successful?
Okay.
I may be highly successful in my marriage. I think I am. I've been with my wife, married 12 years, 16 years. Don't ask me why I waited 4 years. I was in college, by the way.
At least you waited. I waited 7 months, and then I popped the questions.
Dude, can y'all believe that? This dude got married, like, within, like, love at first sight after a sip of boba.
We literally got married a year into knowing each other.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I think we need to have an episode about that. My wife and I, we moved together after, we moved in with one another 2 weeks into knowing one another. So
so you crazier than me. At least I just popped the question. I could have easily taken that away. Once you living with somebody, it's a done deal.
Dog, it wasn't nothing like that. She moved the toothbrush in, then it was underwear, more toiletries, clothes, and then I lost all my drawers, and then therefore the closet at some point. So
I feel that one.
I hear that, man. So a habit or habits of highly successful people is going to be the conversation. Why? We're not your gurus. We're just going to let you know that right now. We're just giving you guys some input, some insight, some experience on some of the things that we've come across. So let's jump into it, brother.
Let's do it.
So a habit let's define that first.
A habit is something you do continuously.
Okay. In order to do what?
Achieve something that you want.
Okay. So we got general habits like hygiene, brush your teeth, stuff like that. And then we have highly successful habits. Right. And then we have people who are very successful. So let's pull out some comparisons today, right? Today's episode is a conversation. And it's a conversation that I think these conversations, they end up better episodes, right? So habit of a highly successful person. Let's start with you, man. Let's start setting the tone in terms of developing this alpha mentality and the habit of a successful person. What do you think we start off with in terms of having a habit?
One of the habits that I have every single day is I like to educate myself. So I listen to a podcast at least once a day. Okay. Like I'm listening to other people. So like if you're listening to this podcast, maybe we are the podcast that you listen to on a daily basis. We appreciate y'all. Yeah, but we also listen to podcasts, right? Because we're trying to grow from other people as well. So I think that's one habit that I have is just educating myself, trying to grow. And then one of the things that they always talk about on those podcasts, because obviously we're listening to people who are more successful than us, is they set goals. That's one of the recurring themes from all the podcasts that I listen to. You need to set goals, but the bigger part of it is you need to write it down.
Yeah.
Why do you think writing it down is so much different than just setting the goal?
Well, let me say something before you mention that. With the new year just, getting started, most people that will have goals and they go unaccomplished because they never write them down. Yeah, they never do. If I engage you and I say, something generic. Okay, what's an income goal you may have this year? And it's like, I don't know, $1 million, $500,000, something like that. They'll go, I want to make $500,000. I go, okay, that's like, what's your plan for it?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows how to execute it because it just sounds good, right? So I think that setting a SMART goal, and I don't mean intelligence, I mean SMART is an acronym that we use in goal setting. What does it stand for? Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and what's the last one?
Time bound.
Time bound, right? So creating an achievable goal is like the foundation of successful and motivated people within their lifestyle. Would you agree with that?
I 100% agree.
Okay, so let's just say to you, I don't know, I'm just kind of baiting you right here.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to set a goal, like, I don't know, you know what, actually, let's ask you.
Okay.
What are some goals that you have this year, and how did you come up with, like, your plan to execute them?
Income goal for me is $250,000 this year for 2023.
Okay, so let's talk about how that becomes a SMART goal. How do you work that? Like, how do you work the plan and then plan to work?
So specific, right? Why is it specific? I want to make exactly $250K. If I make more than that, cool. But I'm going to give you a number. I'm not just going to say I'm going to make this amount of money. That's the first part. Measurable. How do I plan to measure? Well, there's metrics. It depends. Am I trying to do it in one business, in both businesses? How does that work? For us, it's trying to make it in both businesses. So I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do in one business, how I'm going to achieve it, what I have to do in the other business to achieve that, right? Achievable. Is it achievable? Of course it is. We weren't that far this past year, so I know we can achieve it this year. Is it realistic? It's 100% realistic. And is it time bound? Yes, I want to do it by December 31st.
I like that, right? So what is he saying? So in a greater piece of that pie, or the whole of that pie, he's saying that he is setting a goal, and he's going to break that goal down. So you could take that goal and you could walk it backwards. We call it reverse engineering. So you start from the bigger goal. Okay, maybe you break that up into 6 months. Then you may break that down into quarters. And then the quarters are 90 days. And then you could take 90 days and then go 30 days and then see, from 30 days, what do you have to do 7 days a week in order to have this equal this and that equal this, and then you have to look at what it means to have one day where you're winning it, right? So a habit of a successful, highly successful, I can't even talk right now. Maybe it's what's in my cup.
Too much coffee.
Dude, I'm fired up, right? A habit of a highly successful person is to decide to write down SMART goals. I think we talked about it in the last episode with Roger Bannister, but I'm pretty sure he wrote down something that was specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and then time bound. And relevant and achievable is something that's not pie in the sky.
Right.
I have a point that we're going to be talking about here today. But achievable is something that is achievable. It's not like it's unrealistic, but that's just give you an example. If somebody has a goal to make $250,000, okay, but their income threshold has only been $50,000, that's gonna be a little bit hard.
It's gonna be a little bit hard, yeah, because it's not. It's not even. It hasn't been realistic to them ever. Yeah. So at that point, you're kind of just fetching out there. Unless you have some amazing, miraculous plan, typically it's not going to align.
Yeah, your habit is really going to just dictate your future, right? So let's talk about another concept of somebody that's highly successful. What's something else that, I don't know, they can be focused on, something else that can help people when they're, trying to develop this alpha mentality and utilizing these goals, and we're talking about in terms of becoming a highly successful person?
I think having a growth mindset, and what that means is you're always growing. You're not stuck in wherever you're at. Yeah, sure, maybe you have some success, right? But is that where it ends, or do you keep going? Are you willing to go above that the next year, and so on and so forth? That's having a growth mindset. I actually have a funny little story about growth mindset. The first time I ever heard growth mindset
you stole mine, by the way. I was gonna say growth mindset because I was just thinking about that, but I want to hear about this.
Okay, so teaching wise, right? I think this was my third year of teaching, and like the school tried to revamp everything that year. So we started off the school year first day of teacher professional development, and we're sitting inside this auditorium, and they have growth mindset on top of the screen, and we're all looking at each other like, okay, whatever. Let's see what they got planned this year. And I kid you not, the looks on teachers' faces, right? We're gonna focus on teaching these kids a growth mindset. We're all looking at each other like, yo, they've lost it. Like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, It's math, science, English, social. That's what we're teaching these kids. What the hell is this growth mindset you're talking about, right? You know what was the funniest part, I think, to me? The science teachers. Because, science teachers, like, the whole thing with growth mindset is there's multiple ways to get to an outcome, right?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Right? All roads lead to Rome.
Yeah.
But if you ask a science teacher that, they would kind of look like, guys, there's an answer, there's not an answer. It's that simple. So the kids that wanted to find other ways, like, no, this is the way you're going to do it. So you can already see the clash that happened right there. Oh, man, that's what you call a fixed mindset. So I don't know if you want to talk about the difference. First time you ever heard growth mindset, what it means to you?
I think I seen an Instagram post or something on social media where it showed like two faces and the faces were filled with growth and then fixed. And it makes me think about how like the evolution of a lot of successful companies. So you look at Apple, rest in peace to Steve Jobs, but that company was growing, right? I mean, obviously he didn't have a fixed mindset, but the person who replaced him, Tim Cook, if he came in and fixated on the way that problems were solved when Steve Jobs was around, Apple would have never came a $2 trillion market cap type of company.
Right.
And the way on which you have a growth mindset, you need some sort of evolution along the way, and you need to find a way to leave the fixed mindset behind and challenge yourself to become better each day. Yeah. So I'm going to pause right here because challenging yourself each day requires you to identify your habits, identify what you're doing. And I'll give you guys a mind hack. This is going to sound so strange. When we wake up in the morning, we have habits, right? Mm-hmm. So you take a shower. Hopefully you guys are taking showers in the morning.
Hopefully.
And, brushing your teeth. I was told to, in order to like change the way that I approach things, I got a mind hack from a coach of mine. He says, instead of brushing, I'm right-handed. He says, brush your teeth with your left hand. Like it'll create more stimulation in your mind. And when you get in the shower, we have a habit, right? And like my habit is to wash my hair first, and then I put on my, wash my face, and then I go from head to toe. And he said, reverse that, and then do it with your left hand. Dude, it was so weird.
You did it?
I definitely did. But the only reason I did this is because I pushed myself outside of what I was normal to, right?
Gotcha.
So you listening to this right now, it sounds weird.
It sounds crazy.
But when you change when you change the way that you do things, you're taking risk and you experiment with new things, your mind gets out of the routine. It gets out of the rhetoric, and then your brain then has to solve for different equations, right? So
I like that.
I really like when I look at growth mindset, I look at changing a habit. I look at changing what I was doing, right? Because this will help me stay motivated and focused versus just looking at things the same, like looking at the same thing, the same exact way. 1 + 1 = 2. But now these kids nowadays, they're like 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2. I'm like, what? And then my daughter's in the 3rd grade and she'll come home with math problems. I'm like, dude, I never knew you could solve multiplication like that, just certain things like that, right? So for me, developing a growth mindset is leaving behind the fixed way of solving things, right? So I don't know. I'm kind of curious to hear, like, what's your thoughts on what I just said? Because I know it sounded weird to me the first time. I want to hear from the audience, but I want to hear from you since me and you we're the audience as we're recording this.
It sounds weird. I mean, I just doing this motion with my left hand, I'm like, yeah, that feels very uncomfortable, especially when you're using it offhand. But it's very interesting to think about it. Let me wash my body the other way around. Let me do something different. Okay, so I'll give you an example of something that actually happened. So a month ago, I really hurt my back, right?
Yeah, you did.
So I hurt my back. I couldn't really move. Now, I obviously weigh more than Liz, so my side of the bed's a little softer. So we had to switch sides. I needed the firmer side. So I slept on the left side of the bed. She slept on the right. Since we've known each other, I've always slept on the right. She sleeps on the left. You know how weird that crap is when you switch sides? So I guess that was getting myself out of the comfort zone. So I'm sleeping there. I wake up the wrong side. I'm like, yo, what's going on here, man?
New house. Feels like a new room.
Yeah. So that was a trip. It took me a little bit outside, but it was good. I liked that. I was like, oh, maybe we should stay this side. But, Liz, fixed mindset over there. She didn't want to change. She's like, no, give me back my side.
That's interesting. And that was a mind hack. There's I think his name is he a doctor? Dr. Jim Quick. I think that's where that derived from, that example I gave you. QWIK. He talked about, just changing things, because if we approach things with the same problem solving, then the problem just remains the same because we're using the same tool to solve for the equation. So just changing how you do things can stimulate your brain. Our brains are like greater than computers, so it's just like new software that's being used to solve an equation. But I do want to say a habit that I do know of. I have a great a mentor in my life, and he talks about he's very successful, and his habits are down to a T. I mean, a guy wakes up, he drinks coffee every single morning, he meditates, he approaches the day, and within what I just said, meditation, he says you need to empty your mind. And emptying your mind to me is nothing more than just practicing mindfulness and being present. Have you been in situations maybe throughout your day, or maybe you can identify, maybe this isn't something that just, makes sense to you, but in terms of practicing mindfulness, do you ever have spaces in the day or in the calendar in the time of when you're doing something where you just take a step back and you zoom out and you go, whoo, I need to take this break?
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't before. Now, ever since I had the back issue, I actually do yoga now. That's one of the things my boy, Dr. Yang, shout out Dr. Yang. Have you ever listened to this?
Yo, you need to go check him out, man.
Check out Dr. Yang, man. Yeah, so he told me you need to stretch and you do more yoga. So in doing yoga, one of the things that you have to do, obviously, when you're doing yoga is you have to focus on your breathing. You focus on your breathing, you start actually paying attention to what's in your mind. Yeah. And you start letting go and you start loosening up and you start seeing the difference. And I feel like for me, that's been my mindfulness. One, it's helped me with my back tremendously. That's just one part of my health. But two, it has helped relieve stress because you're just kind of zoning out. And mind you, I'm doing this at the gym, like inside a studio with people around, and I don't even care who the hell's around. I'm just in my child's pose, just like chilling. And dude, it's the most relaxing thing in the world. So for anyone that's ever actually done some yoga or trying to do some meditation, I highly recommend it. I tell a lot of people that come for dog training and all that stuff to try it out, man.
That's interesting. I do a little bit. I use the app. I forget what it's called.
The one that makes noises?
No, not that one. It's like a Headspace or something.
What's it do?
It helps you meditate.
Really?
Yeah, it definitely does. Yeah, I have it on my phone here. I'll find it right here. It's hold on, I'll tell you right now. It is Headspace right there.
Interesting. But how does it help you meditate? Like it tells you what
to do?
It teaches
you actually how to meditate. It teaches you. So it teaches you in different segments. So it has like you could do like 2 minutes of meditation. There's somebody just talking and they're walking you through like breathing. And it's not like, you touch your fingertips together. I mean, it's literally, you can do it in a chair, you can do it in a space. But what it does is that it helps you take time out of every day to practice like mindfulness and meditation and to just be at one with the moment, because moments can ruin your day. Yeah, good and bad. Riding the highs of victories throughout the day, riding the lows of, I don't know, maybe people that do crazy people things in whatever setting, right? But clearing my mind and being present in the moment, it helps me keep my thoughts and my emotions in check. And I think that what you're learning now, because you do yoga, I've always said I wanted to do yoga. Where I come from, the guys laugh at me like, you do yoga like you're a lady man or something like that. But I don't take any thought to it. I just think that ever since I started doing meditation, I found myself, I don't know, I'm more vibrant, I'm more light. Things don't hit me the same way that they used to.
You're chilling.
Yeah.
You're chilling. I mean, think about it. Like, I think I read this somewhere that most of the time when you're stressed or anxious, you're either thinking in the past or you're thinking of something that hasn't even happened. When you're in the present is when you're kind of like, yo, I can control this moment and this moment only. Why the hell are you going to stress about something that hasn't even happened? Or why are you anxious about what happened to you in the past when you can leave that in the past?
That's so true.
So
man.
I think that's the whole point of this conversation is why you have to practice mindfulness. Be in the moment, be present, and that's probably where you're going to be at your best state to perform.
Cool. We should have a whole episode on this. What you guys think? I really like this because
we can do it at night too, nice and soft tone and everything.
Yeah, I'm gonna come in here with my midnight radio DJ voice on, right? But again, us touching on this is, if you look at anybody has levels of success, obviously they set goals, right? We just told you how to set a goal in specific, right? Smart goals, right? We talked about developing the growth mindset. So many people are stuck. Yeah. And I mean stuck on stupid, by the way. So if you listen to that and that offends you, trust me, I didn't mean to miss. Get out of the fixed way of how you approach things, right? Shake it up sometimes, I think one of the biggest blessings for me within that growth mindset, by the way, was actually me moving from Chicago to California.
Why so?
Because I've been able to I wasn't around my normal circumstances. So the things that could bring me back down in terms of my identity, they can't. They just can't. They couldn't. In fact, I feel like I have an opportunity to really know who God created me to be because I'm outside of my normal, unnatural environment. I had to go, what does Drake say? No new friends. I had to go make new friends. I had to go meet new people. Yeah. I had to go have different experiences, right? I'm in California. I hike now.
So let me ask you this, because obviously moving from Chicago here, that's going to be pushing you outside of your comfort zone. Obviously, if anyone moves from where they grew up to somewhere foreign, it's going to be a little different.
Absolutely.
At what point do you feel like you realize, like, okay, I needed this, and it was kind of like from there trajectory went off?
Oh my goodness, this is embarrassing. I'll tell you though. My third week living out in California, I play basketball to stay in shape. I'm not a professional, okay? And when I played basketball, I did it every day. I got into a fight with a good friend of mine now, just because I was aggressive. So I got into a fight, and it was pretty brutal. If you want to know, I did beat him up.
We need receipts.
Yeah, trust me, there's receipts. I beat him up, and then I went home, and at home is kind of normal to getting little sparring matches from time to time. I go in the house, my wife's in the house. I think she's cooking. We got a 1-bedroom apartment at that time. I walk in, I look at her, and I got cuts and bruises on my shoulder, my elbows. And I walk past her and she's like, I'm expecting her to be like, oh, honey, are you okay? Did you win? And my wife looks at me. Here's the moment that changed, the transition. And she said, Otis, I forget. I think I was 25 at that time. She says, you're too grown to be fighting. What are you doing? And I said, I ain't no punk. Da 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 da. I was just rapid firing I got him, and he shouldn't have never disrespected me. And this was the moment, I believe, of where the way that I used to approach things changed because my wife gave me a different perspective. And I think that different perspective made a lot of sense because I didn't have my friends to go back to and say, yeah, man, I beat him up.
Yeah.
My wife gave me that validation that, dude, you're getting older. You got to stop doing young things, right? Or you have to stop approaching things with this fixed mindset because the dude called me a B word. And ever since then, I think I was on the court and I just shifted my mind. And I was like, this old saying my mom used to say, sticks and stones may break your bones, but words may never hurt you. And I got out of that way of thinking. And I promise you, I think I was called the B word on the court. And I never responded to it again because it was just a word, right? Now, that sounds simple to you, right?
Right.
But if you guys are approaching things with, I want to do something new. I want to do something better, but you keep surrounding yourself with the same minutia that you've been using to solve problems, then I think what we're trying to say is you have to find a way to revamp, reinvent, and start to learn a different version of yourself, the one that you were created to do. This is why, we kind of big up entrepreneurs so much on this show because I think that it requires you to do so many new things.
It does.
It just requires you to become a different person. We're talking about practicing mindfulness. I never practiced mindfulness growing up. I got into fights all the time growing up. And a lot of that's because of my sister. So if you're listening, Jessica, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? But this is just ways of developing, habits of having a successful mindset within, looking and studying and inspecting your habits, right? So I think one that we talked about before the show was one that I'll allow you to mention was the last one in terms of developing these habits. You wanted to speak on this one. Talk to me about the last topic you want to discuss.
I think the last one is finding yourself a role model, someone you can follow in the footsteps that you want, someone that you admire, someone that you can see yourself like, hey, I see where they're at, I see where they're going, I want to follow that path. I think that alone will help you push yourself out of your comfort zone.
Absolutely.
Because let's say, for example, they take you under their wing. They most likely have been through what you're going through. The doubt, the I'm not sure about this, the scarcity mindset. Everything that's going through your head has been there, done that. So they can kind of directing the right path, and shorten the gap, shorten the time frame for you to try to get to that success that you're looking for. I think that for me was key.
You love Kobe Bryant. I'm about to utilize this. I know you're gonna hate it for all of the Kobe fans. I'm a Kobe fan as well too, but I think my GOAT is MJ. Don't let me get into that, and don't let him get into that. But
yeah, we don't want to talk about that.
But Michael Jordan, right? Not Kobe. Is this clock working yet?
Hey, chill out. Chill out. The batteries are out, guys.
You see the clock? That's all the Kobe sneakers, right? It's a pretty cool clock. But Kobe had a role model in MJ. And I think that Kobe would have still been great, but he wouldn't have been like the level of where he was if he didn't have somebody like MJ.
Agreed.
And I think that if you have a great example where you work at, you probably don't reach the steps you do until you attach yourself to having a role model. I know I currently do that. I have role models and mentors in business that do what you just said. Yeah. They help collapse the time frame. Right. They say, hey, Otis, I did this in this amount of time. You're going to do this in half the time, right? Because I'm just following the footsteps, right? So I think, kind of ending the topic here is something that we've been discussing is just having these habits and executing, right? Yeah. So top us off, like sum it up, right? And give the people what to expect, maybe some upcoming episodes, because I think today's one was really good.
Yeah, I just think for you guys listening, if we are talking to you and it hits you in the sense of like, hey, you know what, that actually sounds like me. I am stuck in that place. I feel like I can't get to that next level. We've all been there. You've been there. I've been there. When I'm talking about that group of teachers, guys, that looked up at that screen and saw the growth mindset and saw, well, this is stupid. Why are we going to teach this to the kids? Guys, I was one of those teachers. I said that. I looked at my colleague and was like, this is dumb. Like, why are we here? When in reality, I sit here now, 2.5 years later, and I'm like, man, dude, we should have really taught those kids that. So trust me, guys, we've all been there, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You just have to find out and set the goal of whatever you want. Whatever 2023 is going to look like for you, write it out. Make it happen. Go achieve it. Be realistic with yourself and find someone to hold you accountable. Look around your group of friends. If none of them fit the future that you're trying to go, I'm sorry, but you may have to leave someone behind.
Remove
right? And find some friends that fit your future, not your past.
Oh my God. That's a perfect way to end this episode. So if you like what we're talking about, which you should, we just ask that you support what we're saying by subscribing, by sharing this, clicking the likes on, whatever channel that we're on, giving us a thumbs up wherever we are, because this message we now know needs to get out, right? And I hope that you guys would agree. So ending episode 2, go back and research our first season and then look at the first episode of this season already. This is episode 2 in the books of the Alpha Mentality. Again, we thank you guys for listening to us and putting up with me especially. But again, just on a high note, we definitely appreciate you guys and we look forward to growing with you guys.
Peace.